Sawadee Krap, I'm JP Mestanza. Today is Friday, April 22nd. Welcome to Phuket Extra, brought to you by pbcphuket.com. It's official, COVID-19 testing upon landing in Thailand will be abolished for vaccinated tourists as well as unvaccinated arrivals who can prove that they tested negative for COVID-19 via RT-PCR test that was taken 3 days before travel. Officials from the COVID-19 Situation Administration, the CCSA, decided to scrap the test and go process for foreigners entering Thailand at the end of this month. Starting on May 1st, vaccinated visitors would not be tested for COVID-19 upon arrival anymore, and the requirement to book a night at a government-approved hotel for the first night as well as the fifth night of their stay has also been scrapped. It will now be recommended that tourists use an antigen self-test kit during their stay on the fifth day, but it is not mandatory. If they test positive, tourists could enter their COVID-19 insurance process or take care of their own treatment, according to Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha, who made the announcement as the head of the CCSA. The Thailand Pass system will remain in place, and while the minimum insurance coverage for tourist arrivals also remains, it was reduced from $20,000 to $10,000. Again, vaccinated travelers to Thailand will only need a passport, a proof of vaccination, and proof of $10,000 prepaid insurance to register via Thailand Pass and then enter Thailand. Meanwhile, unvaccinated arrivals to Thailand have to provide a negative COVID test result via RT-PCR 72 hours before travel to Thailand. If they do this, then they will not have to take a COVID test upon arrival, and they can also skip quarantine and enter the country freely. However, unvaccinated arrivals who do not have proof that they tested negative for COVID, they must prepay 5 nights at a government-certified quarantine hotel to enter 5-day quarantine and take an RT-PCR test on the 4th or 5th day of their stay. The head of the Public Health Ministry, Anutin Chamvinakul, stated that his ministry was looking to end all of the existing COVID restrictions to enter Thailand, but he has no vote on the CCSA. The Prime Minister cited the fact that less than 1% of all arriving tourists in April and March tested positive for COVID-19 when they entered the kingdom. For more, visit thephuket.news.com. In addition to the relaxation to the entry rules, Thai officials have also raised the number of blue tourist zones from 10 provinces to 12 and have extended the alcohol consumption hours at restaurants to midnight. Officials added Songkhla and Rayong provinces to the list that included Phuket, Bangkok, Krabi, Chiang Mai, Chonburi, Nonthaburi, Pathum Thani, Phang Nga, Phetchaburi, and Kanchanaburi provinces. The CCSA has decided to allow restaurants who are SHA Plus certified or meet the Thai Stop COVID 2 Plus standard in these tourism zones. They're allowed to serve alcohol to dine-in customers until midnight instead of 11 p.m. However, pubs, bars, and other nightlife venues that are only licensed to serve alcohol are to remain closed unless they receive permission to operate as eateries. Other provinces will be yellow zones from May 1st on. Yellow zones limit the number of participants in an activity at 1,000. The CCSA also reduced home quarantine for COVID-19 cases and people in close contact with them from 7 days to 5 days, followed by 5 days for self-health observation and distancing from others. For more, visit thephuket.news.com. Phuket businessman Prab Keesin is defending the opening of the Patong Bay Hill Hotel beyond the COVID-mandated 11 p.m. closing time, saying the hotel operating its nightlife venues at least brought some financial relief to people in need, people who are suffering due to the economic impact of COVID regulations. The hotel came under scrutiny after a lawyer, Sitra Biabangked, posted a video clip on his Facebook page last Saturday, saying he had received complaints from local Phuket residents that the hotel had opened its entertainment venues way beyond the legal closing times for years, annoying the public with excessive noise. The next day, the Assistant National Police Chief announced the transfer of the 5 top cops at Patong Police Station to make way for an investigation into the late-night parties at the Patong Bay Hill Hotel. A day after that, Phuket Governor Narong Wuncheo gave his response to the situation, and instead of railing against the hotel for breach of COVID regulations, which has been the norm for officials throughout the COVID pandemic, he called for people to understand everyone involved in this, including foreign tourists, to the island. He mentioned that legal action would be taken, although, other than the police investigation, there has yet to be any announcement on that front. Speaking to the Phuket News, the former mayor's son, Mr. Prab, who's also the president of the Pisona group of companies that owns and operates hotels and other tourism-related businesses in Patong, cited that 400 employees that the hotel in question has helped. He admitted that the hotel's operations was no secret among those in Patong, questioning the motives of local residents who are now complaining, and insinuated that complainants had something to benefit. During COVID-19, and even now, nightlife venues nationwide are banned from reopening unless they operate as eateries and comply to government regulations as such. As far as it's known, that's not the case with the Patong Bay Hill Resort. Mr. Prab stated, quote, "What worries about the economy is social stress, suicides, and safety. People don't have money to send their children to school. There's no money to buy medicines, and many people are unable to send money to family members at home. A shutdown will have a fairly wide impact." Mr. Prab also defended the accusations of the loud noise emanating from the hotel at night. The location of the hotel is more than 200 to 300 meters from the local community, and the sound should reach no more than 80 to 100 meters. Responding to allegations of corruption, Mr. Prab noted that it is difficult to accomplish anything without the blessing of those in positions of power in Patong. Finally, I would like to leave a message to the lawyer who has come to help. Please help drive this issue with sincerity and earnestness. If no benefits are to be involved, I want you to help push the law to make it right. Don't discriminate. Let's help make Patong move forward as a tourist city. If there is a proper legal arrangement by the right person, it won't be a problem if it actually improves the situation. There would be no need for various kickbacks, and we would be able to solve corruption problems in the long run. For more, visit thephuket.news.com. The Old Phuket Prison in Phuket Town is set to be transformed into an ecotourism attraction touted to provide a Twilight Zone experience for people to see what it was like there in the past. The 41-Rai prison, which was built about 120 years ago, is one of the oldest still standing in the country, and it sits on Damrong Road in Phuket Town. For about 2 decades, it was notoriously overcrowded, which spurred a move by local officials to spend nearly 800 million baht on building the new prison in Talang's Sri Sutorn area, which opened in December 2020 and currently houses all of Phuket's male and female inmates. During a press conference at a hotel in Phuket Town this week, attended by the Phuket governor, the top police commander, and the acting warden of the new prison, plans were unveiled to use the old Phuket prison, which now sits empty, for public use to become a green area and develop the, quote, Twilight Zone ecotourism attraction, complete with a live museum learning center for tourists and others. They plan to use it as a professional training venue for inmates who are undertaking vocational training before release on traditional massages, how to operate a drink stall, and more. No estimates of how much money the project would require were announced. For more, visit thephuket.news.com. Thanks for joining us here on this Friday edition of Phuket Extra, brought to you by pvcphuket.com. Join us again on Monday, where we catch you up with all the news you missed over the weekend. Until then, stay classy, Phuket.
Phuket's rapid modernization has made it one of the world's premier holiday destinations. Investors can still buy quality condominiums for as low as $75,000, and luxury properties can go all the way up to 20 million. Condominiums in Phuket are a safe, secure bricks-and-mortar investment offering foreigners freehold ownership. Call or email Thai Residential, Phuket's #1 trusted real estate advisor, to find your perfect Phuket property.